Good afternoon, guys. I would like to start with a question. What does teamwork mean to you? Well, to some, teamwork is just a term, but in our organization, I feel that it's a way to connect with our customers and define who we are as an organization. Throughout my career with this company, I've experienced nothing but the best until I sat down to figure out what I could do to make our store better. I cycled through all operations until I came across a constant battle between sales associates and their numbers. I had never understood why associates were so obsessed with their personal goals until I began to have individual touch bases and made a questionnaire or a survey that really brought it home to me, and I understood really what it was drawing from. The key thing that sales associates all had in common was the fact that they were arguing over numbers and customers. When I really went back and I defined what our mission is, I looked at customer service, and it taught basically that's what it talked about, making every single customer feel welcome within our organization. Now, if we were to take every single individual customer that came into our store and access how they felt about their experience, I guarantee you 8 times out of 10 will feel like they are pressured into buying an item. That's something that we want to get rid of. The reason why they feel like they're so pressured into buying an item is simply because we have ingrained in our associates that they need to make numbers in order to achieve their bonus. This needs to be abolished. I think that it leads to ineffective teamwork as well as communication. Now, when we look at communication, we have to sit and we have to think, what are we doing to make sure that our sales associates are communicating? As of right now, we aren't doing anything. So I developed 4 points that I found that teamwork can be broken up with. I use these points to talk with sales associates on our individual touch bases, and I found that in order for a team to be a team, it has to be a highly communicative group of people. Now, when we talk about communication, we have to make sure that we're assessing communication and decision making. These two go hand in hand because without decision making, we can't communicate, and without communicate, we can't make decisions. So in order for that to happen, we have to have both of them. In a group, we're going to also have to acknowledge that we have several different backgrounds as well as abilities. Now, looking into different backgrounds, we have to realize and learn our sales associates. As managers, we really have to put a lot of time into this and really learning how to communicate with each and every one of our associates. One person may respond to certain actions or opinions, while another may acknowledge a totally different aspect. So we have to make sure that we're using both of these in order to really allow our team to get to that next level is what we're looking for is teamwork. Okay. I also designed a questionnaire that I feel would be helpful. One being least helpful to 5 being most. I asked the sales associates a series of questions that really place an impact on what is teamwork to you and how do you feel like it can be implemented in our organization. So once they answered these, I found that much of their information regarding teams, I was really starting to see a similarity between the research that I was conducting and what they were finding. I was finding that associates feel frustrated when they're not being communicated to, but they also feel frustrated when they're feeling overly communicated to. Now, when I say overly communicated, us as managers, we have to make sure that we're communicating to our associates just enough. Going back to that, everyone has different backgrounds. Some people like more communication, some people like less. So we have to make sure we're finding a happy medium and defining clear goals. From these key points, I was able to start implementing teamwork into our sales team, as well as the idea of zoning. I put the idea of zoning, which what it represents is different zones within the store that allow associates to be specific assigned to an associate zone that will allow customers that coming into their zone they will be able to communicate with, also be protected in that zone. We also put together a new floor plan, which encompass all the top collections in each one of those zones, which will give a sense of fairness, giving every associate the idea that they have a number one selling collection in their zone, which will allow fairness and customers will circulate throughout the store and not just go to one. One of the key quotes I found that stressed the importance of teamwork was the one that says, "Teamwork has always worked, and it positively affects the bottom line, because it not only impacts the employer, but the employee as well, because it gives the employee control over his or her life, and it creates commitment, getting employees involved in the decision-making process." This quote really hit home with all of our associates because it allowed them to identify problems that they have and how their behavior affects our whole entire team. After this long process of research and implementation, I found that employees are motivated by results and, let's face it, money. Now, we need to abolish the idea of money simply because offering incentives such as team bonuses doesn't allow them to see the big picture. I found that by zoning them and really focusing on customer service, they were really able to get back to that mission statement, which is the customer. I think that teamwork is a key ingredient to our success, and I have plans to take my knowledge of teamwork and communication into local stores in the future. I think that by proving success in my store, I can transform our sales team and other stores and organizations. For other stores, I also recommend researching teamwork and learning the best practices for implementing it in a retail environment.